Hello, and thank you for watching the wonderful interview with Dr. Gurmeet Soni Bhalla, who was gracious enough to take such a huge chunk of time from her busy day and be gracious enough to share the details. She answered 39 questions, which was compiled by various, from various questions that parents had asked over the last many weeks. While I understand that none of these questions, or maybe not all these questions, are related to, anxiety related or psychology related, the fact remains that any anxiety or any emotional issue that affects us is a culmination of various factors and not just one. So it is with this belief that we have chosen to enter this realm of web series and record them instead of giving a live feed, also so that people can listen in at their convenience and benefit from it and get back to questions, get back to the answers that they seek to know. And I hope you found it to be really useful, because I understand having babies is the most wonderful feeling that parents who choose to become parents experience. But it is also a time of extreme stress, and incredible amounts of fortitude is expected from us as young parents. All I want all of you to remember is that this too shall pass, and you will look back at these days as something to feel really excited about. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to our next web series, which will be telecast soon. Have a wonderful day. Stay inside, stay safe, and take care. My son just doesn't sleep. I get so frustrated. Then I feel guilty for feeling this way. I don't know why she keeps crying, and I'm at wit's end. Please help.
Yeah. So I think that also is what the baby's gotten used to. Sometimes when you have too many people around in the beginning it could be colic, and then you've gotten used to walking with the baby, and you see shaking the baby, and the baby gets used to that. The grandparents are here, and they've been hands to carry the baby, and now there's nobody, so the baby is on the bed. So it's gotten used to a certain way. So once you rule out it's not colic, if the baby's not hungry, rest is more to do with what routine the baby has gotten into. So sometimes we have to take a little tough decisions. Set the baby on the bed. I'm sure in Indian culture, a lot of people just keep carrying the baby in their lap, which is not required. So then they tend to cry a lot. They want to be carried all the time. So once we've ruled out there is no other reason other colic or feeding, then or it's not the habit, then we have to rule out if there's no other issue that's baby's crying for. But most of the time it's the habit, it's the regimen that's.
So that means it will take a few days, 7 days, 8 days.
It's that sometimes 1 or 2 days, and then it gets into.
Cries a lot. We have tried many things and feel so helpless and sad. Please help.
Yeah, that's an often asked question. So one thing is that the dynamic of a relationship changes the minute the baby comes into your life. Yeah, that's one thing. The second thing is that the baby knows there's only one communication that a baby has with you, which is crying. Whether it wants to eat, whether it wants to sleep, whether it wants to pee, whether it wants to poop, there's only one crying. So one has to really understand the baby's body language. It takes time for a mother to actually understand and get to what the baby wants. Every cry, I've had parents coming to me and says, my baby cries so much, but that's the only way the baby communicates. What else does the baby do? So for every need it cries. So for some need it wants you to pick wants you to pick him up or pick her up, or for some it's soiled, so it wants to be dried up. It's not every cry is a hunger cry. So that's number one. The second is some babies are more colicky. You know, they have for about first month or 4 weeks to about 4 months, 4 weeks to 4 months, we have a lot of gas issues. Some kids have more gas than other kids, and there are various soothing methodologies for that. You know, holding in a certain fashion, the tummy, the belly is down. The mother actually should just take care of not eating too much of flatulent foods, because if the mother is flatulent, then the babies are flatulent too. So yeah, a few, but it passes. It passes off very quickly. I do understand that the most important reason parents get frustrated is because they can't get sleep. They get so sleep deprived, and here's the little baby who's kind of overpowered everything and takes cat naps, and then the minute they set down to sleep, the baby is waking up again. But yeah, it's a relationship that the parents have to form with the child, and have to feel comfortable that every cry is not a bad cry, and a cry is a way of telling that, okay, I want this. Okay, I'm soiled, you know.
Yeah.
You know, one of those things, yeah. The thing that young parents or new parents miss the most is sleep.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, what is it that you really missed? Yeah, when I had my children, it was a sleep, so sleep deprived. And all this while, you've been so used to sleeping in your pregnancy, and everybody's sleeping very nicely, and suddenly the sleep is out of the window. So yeah, so you have to understand that the baby has a need. So every 2 hours, the baby would get up in the beginning. Then it gets stretched to 4. And then there would be a beautiful time, 6 hours, and you're nudging the baby to wake up because now you're uncomfortable.
It seems endless now, but it'll get better, isn't it?
It will, yeah. It's just a phase. It's totally a phase. So, yeah, I think the mothers get sleep deprived as well. So the only thing I say is when your baby's napping in the day, try to catch a nap if you can, because then you would be less stressed.
Don't do housework at that point.
Yes, don't try to catch up on talking to friends or doing something else. So catch up on sleep.
No, and also not being able to get sufficient sleep affects their mood so much. I mean, the anger, the frustration, the parent feels. Yeah.
Well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, which I also tell a lot of young couples this, that, don't decide on your relationship with your spouse based on how you feel within the first 6 months of having your child.
There you go. Yeah.
The time.
Yeah, that's the time. That's not a good time at all.
And you will say mean things to one another.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will wonder, why the hell did I go through this?
Yes, but you will, because all of us did. It's very common for it to happen, and including problems with your parents, with your in-laws, because you feel nobody understands you. And
I'm sure you get a lot of those calls, right?
Yes. And they don't have time to talk, so they usually message. I get a lot of I hate my spouse, message.
My spouse, yeah, I see a lot.
And, I'm just not, he just doesn't wake up, and it's just, is it not his baby? And things.
And then they get used to I have to go to work, so I will sleep in a separate room while she's struggling with the baby, or we have all had that.
Yes, and also frustrating for Indian couples who get to see their foreign counterparts, friends, cousins abroad.
Helping.
This equality is at play a lot.
Correct.
But
absolutely.
It turns to take care of the baby at night, and that doesn't really happen here so much.
That's true. Absolutely.
It frustrates them, and that becomes.
They should set it from the word go. When the baby comes in, you're going to do this and I'm going to do that. Just divide it, and then there is no confusion.
But also, Gurmeet, when that happens, I think we need to learn to let go.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't tell your husband or your mother-in-law or your mother that you do this, but do it my way.
Right, correct.
That doesn't work. And then that's when the fights start, which, I keep telling them time and time again. Let it go. They also care for your baby as much as you do.
Correct.
More. And I'm sure you will be dealing with a lot of those kind of. Yeah.
I do, yeah, I do, but I feel for the mother because here she is trying to feed the baby,
Mm.
doing all kind of things and everything, and then there are so many restrictions and so many instructions being given, and then there is somebody that you are married to is not helping you. So you know, imagine the turmoil that woman is going through. So I guess there has to be some kind of a counseling before the child is born.
Oh yes, I
For the
think.
family. Yeah, it's very important to have that kind of a counseling. They should
What
include
what to expect?
prepare the
Right.
preparedness,
Yeah. And
right?
how to set boundaries. I think that's really important, which I feel,
Absolutely,
especially in our context, in our Indian cultural context, we don't have that concept at all.
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. So many of them come and tell me my mom-in-law saying this, but I can't do this. So I always tell them, bring the mom-in-law with you. I can tell you because whatever I tell you today, may not. She might not hear it. So when you're coming for it, bring mom-in-law along if you have really an issue.
Yeah, yeah. Question, when will my baby start sleeping through the night? When?
Um, I think again it varies from a child to child, but by about 6 months, the babies have a pattern to start sleeping. Yeah. Um, so that's one, and then but every child takes time from 6 months onwards to about 9 months. It also depends on if you've been feeding the baby too much. If you feed the baby too many times in the night, then they get disrupted sleep as well. But
And
they
they
usually
they
sleep
keep waking up to.
between 4 months to 4 hours to 6 hours by 6 months. It could be 4 hours to 6 hours straight in the night by about 6 months.
Okay. The other question is, my baby sleeps a lot. He's 5 weeks old. I'm so worried to see him sleep so much. Is this normal?
Yes, absolutely normal. They grow when they sleep.
Sleep. Can we co-sleep with our little one? I feel she will grow up too fast and we want to cherish this moment, but we don't like this Ferber method thing, but we are also super scared. We will literally crush her at night if she's next to us without knowing in our sleep. Is that even possible? Please advise.
Okay, it's a very cultural question, right? If you follow the Western thing, they will tell you don't go sleep.
Don't go sleep.
But even today, I see 90% of Indians go sleeping with a baby. So that's our norm. That's the way we are. You will never crush your baby. There is no way you can crush your baby. Until, of course, you're drunk and you roll over, you'll crush the baby. Never. I think it's a parental instinct, and maybe
Yeah.
the baby down. It has a whole bunch of
Never
noise.
heard of it. Never heard of any baby being crushed by a parent sleeping next.
If you have issues like you're overweight and you have you're sedative or you are on an antidepressant medications,
Yeah.
any antipsychotics, something, then you cannot sleep with the baby. There is no way you should be sleeping with the baby. We don't even allow breastfeeding if the mother has on antidepressants because the drugs are not good and the mood swings are too many. So, but you can co-sleep with the baby, but I would say if you start giving baby the space that the baby needs, then I think both you and the baby can enjoy each other. Yeah, I've had issues where the babies are smaller, let's say till about 9 months, they would sleep in a crib or something, and then the parents find it very, very bothersome to go in the night and nurse and start picking the baby and put him in their own beds. It just takes a week for the baby to unlearn whatever you have done. Just takes a week.
They're very smart that way.
You wouldn't go back into the crib again. So, yeah, if you want to put in good regimens and if you want them to have those kind of habits, then yes. But if you want, them to be in your room, it's totally a personal choice. Yeah, if you want them in the bed You could have a little crib in the room. You don't really have to have a different nursery. That's what I did. The crib would be close by, and then you could still didn't have to go too far. You didn't really have to depend on the baby monitor. So that's a very Western culture.
Mm.
Yeah, but I think the babies should have their own space. Then there's less things to worry about.
They learn young, isn't it? And
They learn young. You don't have to worry about crushing the baby. You get a good sleep. Baby gets a good sleep.
The next question is an interesting one. I live in a joint family, but the house is small. My parents like to watch TV loudly all the time. I feel it'll disturb my daughter, so I've told them to stop watching TV after 6 p.m. Am I overreacting? They are so upset with me. This is a father who has sent this message.
I know. Yeah, that's again, extended family. Loud sounds are not great for the baby.
It's not, right?
You cannot. That's why we tell parents not to take the children into cinema theaters.
These theaters.
Yeah, it's
Is it overkill?
it's a,
TV at all after 6 p.m.
Oh, I mean, if it's too loud, then it's yes. But I mean, if you're getting disturbed and your parents want entertainment, then I guess they have to be in another room, and don't put your TV in the living room. They could be watching loud TV. Shut the door so there's a lesser noise.
Sound is a problem.
Loud noises are not great for children.
Okay. So my mom says we couldn't cuddle the baby too much and carry him around too much because he'll become cranky and demanding. My mom-in-law doesn't keep him down even for a bit. I hate asking her to. I'm so confused and upset. Is there a right way?
There you go again. Yeah, I think you've got to find your own boundaries. You could set your own boundaries. Carrying the baby around too much is not the smartest thing to do. Also, there has to be a time where the baby stays on the bed and plays on its own, which is really, really important. So
Alone, you can be alone. I mean, as long as it's in a safe place.
yes, alone.
Alone?
You could, yeah, of course, like in a crib.
Mm.
Baby just awake and playing in a crib is wonderful. You could have a mobile on top of the baby.
Mm.
You could have a musical thing. There are the wonderful non-reflective mirrors that come as a bumper on the side of the baby's crib. So they look at themselves and they're very happy. You have rattles on the hand. So there's so many things a child can do. In fact, if you straddle them and carry them, that's not probably the most or the best way to let them discover noises, sounds, what they can do. Most of us straddle the babies, right? Yeah, carry them around. So that might not be the best. So just find a middle ground. Sometimes when the baby's too fussy and crying and not settling down, maybe it's okay to pick up, but get them used to being on the bed.
Mm.
On the bed, they'll bother you less when they grow up, which is the right thing to do.
So due to COVID, the infant massage lady is not able to come. Will this affect my baby's muscle strength? I know I'm being silly, but I really wanted to know how important is neonatal massage.
That's one of my favorite questions also. I wonder why people massage the babies. I asked this if I were to ask you, why do people massage the babies? Just a question.
What I've heard is that I don't know. I've never done it for my kids, but I've heard that it makes them stronger, more supple. I don't know.
Okay, so I don't think it's so much to do with being supple. It is improving the motor activity. So you move muscles gently in a certain fashion. So clockwise, anti-clockwise.
Mm.
It's a mild kind of an exercise, but besides the exercise, it is a bonding between a mother and the child. So where does the massage lady?
That is not required.
I mean, I know in our country we have kind of also outsourced everything, from the boys to the cooks to the drivers and massage ladies also.
Don't they have baby masseuse?
They do, and that is what I personally don't promote, because this is your bonding time with your child. This is when you're stroking the baby, so there is sensory stimulus. It's not a chore. It's really not a chore. If you did not give massage to your baby, doesn't mean that your baby's not going to grow well. So if you're giving that massage, That's your time. You're talking to your baby, you're singing to your baby. So there's auditory stimulus, there is motor stimulus, there is sensory stimulus, there is tactile. You learn a whole bunch, and your baby knows it too. But the baby masseuse that I see around, it's for them, it's a chore. Yeah. And their way of doing things are sometimes much more stronger. So 19 is the most wonderful time to get hands-on with your baby. So I'm happy the masseuses are not coming.
Don't delegate it, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, it would be for the mother more so. I think the mother would need a massage more than the baby.
My children bond more with Rajiv than me. He did all these things. I was not this person who could do it.
Yeah, but I think, the massages are very important. A very beautiful bond between a mother and a child.
Kind of cute as well.
Yeah.